Hey guys, it's siu-yee. Welcome back to my channel. As many of you are probably aware, stimulus checks have started to be sent out. Depending on where you lie in the tax bracket, you may be getting checks up to $600. So I want to talk to you about 10 things that you can actually do with that money depending on what your financial situation is. Before I get into the list, the number one thing you should be doing is getting on a written budget. If you're not on a written budget, you may not even realize where you are on your financial journey. You may not realize how much money you're wasting on subscriptions that you don't use. You may not realize that you're spending $150 on candles every month, like one of my best friends recently told me. All jokes aside, it's so important to get on a budget because then you know where your money is going. And once you know that, then you'll know how to better allocate it. So the first way that you can use the money that you get is by covering your basic living expenses. If you find that after making your written budget, you don't have enough money for food, and that $600 check will really make the difference between you having your next meal, keeping the lights on, or feeding your children, definitely use it to cover your basic living expenses. Do not worry about any debt. Do not worry about making extra payments on debt. The best thing you can do is take care of yourself first. The next thing you can do is use that money to cover your bills. You can pay your electricity bill, your water bill, any minimum payments that are due. You can probably use that money to cover that. This way you are not charged any additional late payments and you can better prepare for the next month. Now, if you are in a position where you have all of your basic essentials covered and you can pay your bills, but you have some debt, then you can consider throwing this extra money towards debt. This way, whatever balance you owe will go down, and maybe you'll be able to pay off your loans earlier than anticipated. This is especially true for a lot of the federal student loans right now that have zero interest. Keep in mind that that zero interest rate expires on January 31st, 2021. If you don't have at least $1,000 emergency fund, I highly recommend that you put that money into a savings account that accrues some amount of interest, and it gives you some peace of mind that will allow you to cover an emergency. Now, $1,000 can be a lot to some people, and to others it may not seem like enough. Again, I'm following the baby steps. $1,000 is a starter emergency fund, and then once you finish baby step 2 and pay off your debt, you can start contributing to your fully funded emergency fund, which should cover 3 to 6 months of expenses. If you're someone who does not have an emergency fund at all, I highly recommend that you send that money to a savings account and treat it as an emergency only fund. Since tax season is coming up pretty soon, I highly suggest that if you're someone who thinks that they might owe taxes this year for any reason, then it's probably smart to reserve that money to cover any taxes that you might have to pay if you haven't already. Many of you are probably getting tax returns. I am probably not, because I adjusted my paycheck so that I wouldn't get a tax return, but I over-adjusted, but that's okay. I already put a line in my February budget that I will allocate towards taxes this year. It's better to be prepared to pay the IRS rather than have to owe money to the IRS and not have the money to pay for it, especially any fellow freelancers, because taxes aren't taken out of your pay. You kind of have to figure that out on your own. The next thing is covering a large purchase, which is something that I personally did with my stimulus check. This could be a school computer, an investment in your business. If you're a new YouTuber, maybe you want to buy a new camera or lighting equipment. I highly recommend doing that if you're going to use that as an investment, but if you're just going to make a purchase that isn't really an investment, I am not going to judge you. Just evaluate if it's a wise choice for your financial situation first and, make your decision. As people are going back to school this semester, they're going to have to start paying tuition for their next classes. I highly recommend paying for your education without taking out any student loans like I did and being financially ruined essentially after graduating college. I think using this money for your tuition instead of taking out a loan is a really good idea. Really, really good idea. Don't take out student loans. Or it'll cover some of your living expenses if you're living in a dorm or off campus. Again, go back to your budget, see where that money should go, and spend it wisely. If you happen to be in baby step 3B, this is a great opportunity to send more money towards your down payment on a house, and therefore giving you better leverage, especially if you're working towards that 20% down so that you won't have to pay PMI. If you are planning on getting a mortgage on a new house, house, the higher the down payment, the lower the monthly mortgage payment will be, and the lower the interest. So $600 could go a long way, especially if it's in a high yield savings account. It'll just get you closer to that goal and help you out in the future when you do buy a house. The next thing you can do, of course, is invest your money. Maybe that means actually buying the house, or it means investing in stocks, retirement, etc. Whatever you're interested in, I think that if you're in a position to invest your money, why not let that $600 check make you even more money? Last but not least, if you are in a position where you have all of your basic expenses covered, why not gift that money to someone else or donate it to an organization that you believe in? So many people are struggling right now, and many of them will not be able to make ends meet with $600. So if you find that the $600 check isn't really adding that much value to your life or your financial goals, then maybe it can do that for someone else. And if you're worried about gift taxes, $600 is well below your yearly threshold, so don't worry about that. If you're one of the people who got a stimulus check, please let me know in the comments below what you've decided to do with it. Don't forget to give this video a like for the algorithm and subscribe to my channel for more related content. Thanks for watching!